power-ups, our Office add-ins. So one of our popular Office add-ins is the Send to Trello. Trello used to have its own Send to Trello, and whenever they got rid of it, I said, "Dadgummit!" So I went and I created my own, and that one became fairly popular as well. It's and one of the neat things that we do with regards to our power-ups is if you have a subscription on a board or in your workspace, all the power-ups for Krill Solutions are available to you with premium features. So, and that even includes Send to Trello from Outlook. So when you select the board that you're going to send things to, if that board has a subscription attached to it, then you'll also get all the premium features for Send to Trello. But we've got a number of add-ins for putting badges, priority badges, card age badge, and a wiki, an office like a Office Hub and Teams Hub, which allow you to integrate your Teams and Office files together. So all these power-ups, they work together. And one of my things that I do is I do a lot of integration between Office and Trello, because I also do a lot of development in Office as well. So.
I love that. So basically, your power-ups are the go-to if you're a Microsoft Office shop and you're also trying to use Trello.
Yep, correct.
Awesome.
It's good to know because Google seems to be dominant in most of the sort of syncing with calendars and that kind of thing. So it's good to know there's an option for Microsoft.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Is I feel like there's definitely a lot more things for the Google suite of things than Microsoft. So, yeah, thank you very much, David, for joining us and for sticking with us despite the technical struggles here. So, very much appreciated. And yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, and now we have our next and last, but definitely not least, we have our friends from Unito over here. We've got Alex and Josh. Unito is the go-to. I need to sync X with Y power up. I almost feel like they don't even necessarily need that introduction because they're known for that. If there's ever I want this to work with this, my first thing I say is like, do you want to buy it? Do you want to just have it working? Then you probably want to use Unito. And if they're like, well, like, are there other options? I'm like, yeah, if you want to build it and, make it work with Zapier or, figure out your own sort of coding thing. But if you just want it to work out of the box and it's a Trello to work with XYZ, Unito's the go-to tool. So it obviously made sense to include you all here to chat about Google Calendar. So yeah, over to Josh and Alex.
Thanks, Britt. Wow, I don't even know how to introduce our power up anymore. You've said it all.
I've got you.
We can throw it back to you. For those of you who don't know, Brittany's a published author as well. So I totally recommend her book about supercharging productivity with Trello. It's a fantastic read.
Thank you. I do talk about Unito in there actually. So yeah. So link in the chat if you haven't read it yet. Definitely check out the book. But yeah, so tell us how we're going to sync with Google Calendar and how our lives can be super easy here.
Yes, absolutely. So just like all of the other amazing Trello power-ups you've seen today, Unito can help you turn your Trello cards into calendar events in either Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar. We also have connectors for 50 other apps and tools that people use for work every day. So there's a ton of flexibility here with Unito. You can build all kinds of different multi-tool workflows. You can sync all kinds of fields between your events and your Trello cards. You can sync your members as guests in your events. You can sync them just as text if you want to see a list of attendees. You can include attachments, everything you would need between Trello cards and calendar events. What makes Unito really cool in this regard is there's a ton of flexibility. So you can also exclude fields if there are only some that you want to include. It's a two-way integration platform, so you can send cards to your calendar or turn events into cards. And basically, it's designed for bulk data syncing. So instead of explaining, why you need Unito, maybe it would help to talk about who Unito is best suited for. So we recommend it for anybody who has maybe hundreds or thousands of cards or events or other items that they want to sync. If you're only looking to sync, a handful of cards or a dozen events or so per month, it's maybe not the tool that you need. It's really for people who have a lot of data where they're trying to scale and they just can't handle like large volumes of cards or events they need to manage. So it's great for getting rid of that like manual output that people struggle with when they have a lot of data to manage. So with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to my colleague Alix, one of Unito's senior support specialists and technical project managers.
Cool. Hi, guys. I'm going to try sharing the screen. Let's hope this works.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's see if it works. We're just kind of rolling
Dave,
dice here today.
David's experience freaked me out. All right. Let's see here. Can we see my Trello board right now?
Yes, I see your board.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so ahead of time, I've already gone ahead and created 2 flows between both my Trello board here, Spring, and a Google Calendar here, as well as an Outlook calendar. So they're both sourcing from Spring and then going into both calendars. So I can show you guys first how to basically create a card here, and then we're going to have it sync to both calendars. So let's say restream, live stream. And then I'm going to add the dates. So we're going to have, I'm going to have it start, Friday at 10 a.m. and save this. And in just a moment, this should sync. This is a different test, so give this a moment here. Oh, perfect. It just popped up. So you can see here that we've had it sync over. You have the link to the original Trello card included in the description, and it should have also synced here. If we give this one a moment, syncing. Dun, dun, dun. All right, we're going to give this a couple minutes and I'll just walk you through. Okay, perfect. There it is. I'm going to walk you through basically the setup that I have already going in both of these flows. So I've selected my Trello board. I've selected the direction of the flow. This one from Outlook is actually bi-directional. So I can create items from Outlook and have it sync back to Trello, or I can set it up so that only items in Trello sync to my Google Calendar here. So you can pick either direction. I can set rules. I haven't in this case, but I can set rules to say like, hey, I only want cards with a certain label. So I think I have a blue label in here. Nope, apparently not. Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. So it was called review, but I have these labels that I can choose from and only those cards will sync over. And then I can select the different fields I want mapped. So just give this a moment. And generally, you can even choose the direction of your mappings that might go against the direction of your flow. So because I've selected it to go one way from my Springboard to my calendar, they've defaulted to one direction, but I can switch them to say, oh, I want to be able to update my guests, my description in bi-directional senses. So let us create a flow together and we can see how easy it is to use Unito. So I'm going to discard these changes and create a flow. So we're going to first select the tools we want to integrate with. So obviously Trello is going to be the first tool. And it's already selected the account that I have connected previously, so my own account. And then I can pick a board such as summer. And then I'm going to pick my Google Calendar. And all of the calendars you have access to, you can integrate with. I have my testing flows here, so we can go forward with that. Here, we're going to pick the direction of your flow. So if I only want things to sync from Trello to Google Calendar, I can just pick this direction or vice versa. I'm going to go bidirectionally. And then here you can pick the rules that you say you might not want all of your Trello cards or all of your events to sync over. We also have this handy dandy creation date. So say you want to test this out before you really apply it to all of your data. And we allow you to sort of say, nothing created before this flow is created will sync until I remove this rule. So I'm going to keep that for the time being. And then the mappings page, where we give you the option to map it automatically. So we'll sort of do a default detection for you and map those, or you can map things manually yourself. Give this a moment.
Yeah, I can just jump in quickly to mention that a big difference between Unito and a lot of other automation tools out there are that typically with automation, you have to plan out a very careful sequence of events to trigger syncing. Unito does the opposite. It's a lot more forgiving. It syncs everything by default, and then you only have to set rules to exclude data that you don't want included. So it's really an integration tool for anyone. You don't need to have a background in coding or to fully understand the intricacies of if this, then that logic. It's a lot more accessible and easy to use.
Great. Yes, thank you, Josh. And this is loaded in the background while he was speaking. So we have our dates, our start date, our end date already mapped. The description, the members, the title, etc. So we're just going to confirm this. And then we can launch our flow. Great, so I'm just gonna bring up the summer board here. And I'm going to go ahead and create an item. So this one is from the summer board.
I like the time traveling we're doing here, going from spring to summer, like really feeling like the seasonal effects here. Just
I really should have picked autumn. That would have been more appropriate, but you know,
Yeah,
I'm still in my summer vibes.
Exactly. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to let go of summer yet.
All right. So I'm going to pick, actually, you know what? Let's just put a start date. If you just pick one date without a time, you can actually create an all-day event. So you have that flexibility. If you want a specific time, because Trello only has a due date time, you'll have to map due date. But we'll sort of default a half-hour event for you, since there's no real, like, you can't really box it in with a second time. So I'm going to do a start date. So we have an all-day event on the 11th.
So the due date equals start date in the calendar. So Trello due date equals start date in the calendar.
Well, you can map it as such. I find that's a little on the confusing side. I do have it mapped currently to have due date to due date, yeah, and then start date to start date. Basically what it'll do is it says like, oh, your due date is at 10 a.m. So it'll default to half an hour back. So your start time is technically 9:30 and then it'll end at 10 because you've mapped it to 10. All right, where are we at here? Ooh. Right, okay, so we sent this over. We already have the link to the Google Calendar event, so I'm gonna open this here. And we can see that it is an all-day event up top. And then we can also go ahead and create a second one just to show the regular time parameter. So let's say Mike has to pick up dry cleaning. Sorry to throw you under the bus there, Mike. So we'll do 10:30, say. We'll save this. And it should sync over in just a moment. Where am I here? Mike has to pick up dry cleaning. There you go. So hopefully we've demonstrated how simple and easy to use Unito is. It is also accessible from your Trello boards. Just for visibility, I did set it up in our standalone app, but if you have our Power-Up, you can access the same app directly from your Trello board. And yeah, are there any questions for the Unito experts?
So I presume that if you wanted to have it a bit more granular, you could have a custom field that had duration, and then set the due date with the custom field, and then set the automation to work backwards and do a start date, end date based on the duration.
So you can, sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sorry, I was a bit faster. So if you're basing the due date to due date mapping,
Yes.
if you had like a custom field in Trello that was duration, in theory, you could set up an automation that takes that duration number and works backwards. So then sets, so say you set the duration to 2 hours and the due date's 11, it will set the start date to 9.
I think Mike's saying you would do that with like Trello's automation, and then you would map that. Yes. I think, is that what you're saying, Mike?
Well, I was actually wondering if you could do that with Unito actually.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I believe in your custom date fields, does it have a time aspect as well? I'm pretty sure it does.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So if you did a custom field, you could do it that way. So if you mapped your start date to a custom field, unfortunately, I'm in my freemium Trello right now, so I don't have access to custom fields. Yes, so if you used a custom field instead and mapped your start date to that, you could have the time parameter with that as well.
Okay.
That's sort of the fun thing about Unito, is that we support all of the Trello custom fields, but we haven't played around with every possible iteration with every connector that we have. So it's an interesting experiment. We're going to have to check that out and get back to you guys.
What? You haven't played with every possible aspect you can of Trello and Jira and Google Sheets and Google Calendar and Notion and GitHub? Like, I'm shocked. What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's funny you mentioned that. So we actually did just launch a new Salesforce connector that can sync every possible standard and custom object, which essentially means there are infinite combinations that you can,
gosh.
that you can play around with. So we don't even know the limitations of our own product when it comes to the different combinations of field mappings. But we're more than happy to help all of our customers figure them out.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Wow. That exhausted my brain a little bit just thinking about that, but I love that. Yeah, I love that. And I think that's one of the things too that I like about Unito is it lets you use the tool as you want. So, Mike was asking about how to do that in Unito, but you could also build that automation in Trello if you wanted, where you could make an automation where when I set the duration field, take the due date custom field or the due date actual field and like do some date math and then, set the custom field to start time to be whatever. So that's what I really like about Unito. It's not really if you have people who want to use Trello and you're not necessarily looking for a new UI to kind of mix things up. It's really just there and letting you use the tools you want, and it works well. Like for instance, my favorite is when you've got developers who want to do things in GitHub or at work we use Notion at Pixie Bricks, but I'm a Trello girly, and so it's nice to be able to say, cool, y'all do what you need to do in Notion and I can do what I do in Trello, and it just it works nicely. So yeah, thank you folks for joining us. This is awesome. It's super excited, and I know we've got
it's the first of many for Unito.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, yeah, hopefully we'll have you all back for some more. I know we've got I just put it on the Trello board. There's a special offer for I'm putting the coupon code in here in the live chat. Can you remind me what is the specific offer again? What is it for?
Yes. So any customers who sign up for a Unito plan as a result of watching this webinar can use the code that Britt just put into the chat for 20% off.
20% off. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So 20% off. So yeah. And we've got that in the Trello board, which I'm going to link that to one more time, just so in case anybody's here trying to keep track of all of this at home. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate that. And I think Mike, we're going to kind of wrap it up here a little bit. But yeah, thank you again, Alex and Alix. I want to make sure I say that right. Alix, did I say it right?
Actually, yeah, that's good.
Alix and Josh, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Bye,
having
everyone.
us.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. So one thing I do want to mention, and I'm leaving this for the end. Mike, I don't even know that I told you I'm going to mention this, but I got special permission to give a quick announcement sort of thing that I can't say much, but Trello is working on some features internally for helping you manage things with calendars and being able to, sort of plan dates and visualize your things there. I cannot say much about it, but what I can say is if you want to see it, there is a link I'm posting in the chat here. It is for you can sign up for a planning interview. Basically, they're going to kind of like show you some of the things they're thinking and get your feedback on it. So if you are like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm definitely interested in this. I'm very curious. What is Trello planning to do here? Again, I can't really say much more, but they can if you fill out this form and get on a call with them. So again, this link is in the Trello board that I've been talking about this whole time here. So make sure to follow that Trello board, but also fill out that form and sign up for a call so you can see what's going on and also share your feedback.
Yeah, I think the great thing about that is they're genuinely interested in what people want, and they're open to ideas. So yeah, definitely get involved. So for those people who think that they don't have a say in how the direction of software travel is, then yeah, click on this link. You've got an opportunity, so make the most of it.
Exactly. Don't I don't want to hear anybody here hot take. If you don't fill out this form, I don't want to hear in 3 months or whenever you coming into the community and posting some hot take comment because you didn't like how this or that turned out. Like, you only get the right to do that if you fill out this form. I'm setting that rule now.
Don't rule out me moaning about something that I suggest in the future.
Yeah, exactly. If you suggest it, that's fine. You can moan about it.
it.
Exactly. Just as long as you use this channel to articulate it first. But yeah, so I know we're kind of like really over time here, Mike. But how should we kind of recap things here for I know we've still got some folks with us.
I took some notes during the demonstrations, and I wanted to just highlight that there was like a standout thing from each one for me that sort of, when you're trying to think about how you want to sync with your calendars, probably worth thinking about. So I'll go through those quickly. I know we're conscious of time, so I will run through them very quickly. So for the mid-calendar sync, I think my favorite feature of that was the fact that you can open your Google Calendar directly from Trello. That means, less clicking, less moving around, less windows. For Placker, I think exposing the start time that already exists in Trello is a really big thing. The thing that I wish they would do anyway, but exposing that means you're kind of using the feature that's already built into Trello to create that, and there's not additional fields custom to that power-up. It means it should work perfectly in the mobile app as well, which is one of the complaints about power-ups. So I really like that. For Planyway, I think the idea that they have got integrations for not just Google, but Outlook and other calendars was really strong. And also the fact they've got their own mobile app. Again, that kind of counteracts the fact that power-ups aren't generally available to use in the Trello mobile app. Throughout the calendar sync, I think similar to the Google Calendar sync, I like the fact that it was kind of direct from Trello that you could open it. I also like this idea of creating an event and linking multiple cards to it, which was kind of unique amongst these power-ups. And then finally was Unito. I think the idea, I mean, it's a little bit different because it's kind of like an automation engine, but being able to have one workflow that syncs to multiple calendars, whether it's Outlook and Google or a mixture of both, was really strong. So those are kind of my top things from each one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had kind of some takeaways too, and it definitely didn't feel like it feels like there's probably something that's going to work for you from one of these. Like you're probably not likely torn between, oh, should I do this or this? Like something probably stood out and made it obvious to you about how these all sort of look. So yes. And thank you, Liz. Liz is going to submit feedback. I love it. Thank you so much, Liz. But yeah, I totally agree. I think there's some lots of great options here. So just to kind of really wrap things up, if for the folks that are still with us, we do have, if you go to the Trello board, posting it one more time in the chat here, we have actually, who am I kidding? I can share. We have, well, maybe I can share. There we go. I can. we have a poll in here for our next event. We want to try to get this one on the books and scheduled sooner than later. Please help us vote for what should we do next? Which group of power-ups should we chat about next in our next episode? Should we talk about time tracking or card mirroring, power-ups for educators, reporting, all sorts of different options here. If you want to vote, all you need to do is come to this board. It is a public board. You can access it, and you don't even have to be part of the board. You don't need to join it. You just need to go to the board, click on the card you want, and go over to this vote button down here in the corner and just click it, and you're going to get a vote logged for these. And then I'll be able to sort all of these. Yeah, see, I see them coming in here. And I'll be able to sort all of these by votes, so we can actually see what's going on. And if you're like, I have a different idea, well, come right down here. There is a fill out form that you can do right here. You can just click that preview button and you can share your idea right here. I got pretty excited about how I set this up, Mike. Check this out. I'm going to submit this, and then it's actually going to appear on the board here, assuming the syncing works. But I don't know. Syncing. It's been a rough day for syncing here, so it may take it a minute to come through, but it is meant to come through on the board here. Well, all right. Well, never mind. The syncing is just not happening today. That's just, I think the takeaway is that the Wi-Fi is stressing everything out, or the streaming is stressing everything out. But either way, I am capturing these, even if they don't appear on the board. So as soon as you fill that out, it is going to come through and I will be able to see it. And I'm super excited for us to host events with these in the future. So at the moment, it seems like we've got a tie for time tracking, reporting, and power-ups for developers. So